For years, Chrisley Knows Best captured the hearts of millions with its blend of humor, southern charm, and family chaos. The hit reality show gave audiences a glimpse into the glamorous and often hilarious life of Todd Chrisley, his wife Julie, and their children Savannah, Chase, and Grayson. However, behind the polished editing and perfectly timed one-liners, there is much more to the Chrisley family than what cameras reveal. While fans watch them navigate parenting, business ventures, and fame, the real story behind the scenes of Chrisley Knows Best is filled with emotional depth, personal challenges, and moments of authenticity that rarely made it to air. The Chrisleys became reality television royalty, thanks to their quick wit and strong personalities, but what many viewers don't realize is how much the show was carefully crafted to balance entertainment with relatability. Producers often highlighted Todd's over-the-top persona as the strict but lovable patriarch, yet those who know him personally describe him as much more thoughtful and soft-spoken than what audiences saw on screen. Away from the cameras, Todd was said to be deeply involved in every aspect of his children's lives, from their education to their emotional well-being. He often encouraged open discussions about faith, family, and responsibility, values that didn't always fit neatly into the fast-paced editing style of reality television. One of the most notable differences between the show's depiction of the family and their real-life dynamic lies in how they handled personal struggles. The Chrisleys were going through financial and legal issues long before the headlines ever broke, but fans rarely saw signs of strain on-screen. Todd and Julie made a conscious effort to keep the tone of the series lighthearted, focusing on humor rather than hardship. Those close to the production say there were countless emotional moments filmed that never aired, scenes where the couple discussed fears about their reputation, the future of their family, and the pressures of fame. Many of these heartfelt conversations were left on the cutting room floor to preserve the show's upbeat tone. Julie Chrisley, known on the show as the calm, nurturing counterpart to Todd's fiery personality, was also much more multifaceted behind the scenes. While she often appeared as the voice of reason, balancing her husband's sarcasm and her children's antics, Julie was reportedly the true backbone of the family, quietly managing household responsibilities, business matters, and the emotional stability of her kids. Crew members have described her as disciplined, organized, and deeply faithful, always grounding the family during challenging moments that didn't make it into the show's narrative. When cameras stopped rolling, Julie would often lead her family in prayer or heart-to-heart conversations about gratitude and grace, reminding everyone that fame could disappear at any moment, but love and faith had to remain constant. The children too experienced the contrast between their on-screen personas and their real lives. Savannah and Chase were frequently portrayed as bickering siblings engaged in lighthearted competitions, but off-camera their bond was far more supportive and emotional. Savannah has spoken openly about how growing up on television created pressure to appear perfect, even when she struggled with confidence or heartbreak. Chase, meanwhile, often played the role of the family's mischievous jokester, but those who worked with him say he was protective and empathetic toward his siblings, always trying to keep the mood light, even when tensions rose within the family. Grayson, the youngest, often shielded from the heavier aspects of fame, was the quiet observer of it all, growing up faster than most kids his age. What the cameras didn't show is how exhausting it could be to live life under a microscope. The Chrisleys filmed long hours, often repeating scenes to capture the right comedic timing. The family had to maintain energy and humor, even during stressful times. Producers occasionally encouraged light dramatization to make episodes more entertaining, but insiders say the Chrisleys never strayed far from their authentic selves. Todd's sharp humor and Julie's gentle wisdom were not scripted, they were simply heightened versions of who they were naturally. Still, balancing fame with privacy took its toll, especially as public interest in their personal lives intensified. The family's deep Southern faith was a core part of their identity, but it was often understated in the series. Viewers occasionally saw glimpses of their spiritual side, such as Todd's prayers or Julie's references to blessings, but in reality, faith guided almost every decision they made, from family meetings to business discussions. The Chrisleys' relationship with God played a central role in their daily life. Even during their most difficult moments, the family leaned on prayer, reflection, and forgiveness, something that viewers rarely got to see in full detail. Behind the laughter, there were also tears, moments of conflict and reconciliation that painted a more complex picture of the family's relationships. Todd's expectations for excellence often clashed with his children's desire for independence, leading to emotional conversations that were sometimes too raw for broadcast. Savannah and Chase both struggled at times to balance their father's high standards with their own aspirations. Yet, despite disagreements, the family always came back to one another, choosing love and loyalty over pride. When the Chrisleys faced public scrutiny due to their legal troubles, production on the show became even more carefully managed. The tone of the episodes was designed to keep things light, avoiding direct references to the real-world controversies that surrounded them. During that time, the family relied heavily on one another for strength and support, though much of that vulnerability remained unseen. Fans saw the humor, but not always the heartache, the quiet nights filled with worry, or the private discussions about how to protect their family's legacy. Crew members who worked on Chrisley Knows Best often described the set as both chaotic and heartwarming. Todd and Julie treated the crew like extended family, frequently hosting meals and conversations after long filming days. They were known for their generosity and their attention to detail, making sure everyone felt valued, even when schedules were demanding. One former producer noted that the family's genuine affection for each other was undeniable. No matter how edited the final product became, their laughter wasn't fake, their arguments weren't staged, they were simply magnified for the sake of storytelling. Another layer that audiences rarely saw was how the Chrisleys managed fame behind the scenes. While the show portrayed them as confident and composed, fame brought a unique set of pressures. They had to navigate tabloids, online rumors, and intense public scrutiny, while maintaining a united front. Todd, in particular, was deeply protective of his family's image, often taking responsibility for the backlash himself. Julie, meanwhile, was the emotional anchor, constantly reminding her husband and children that their worth came from faith and family, not public perception. The Chrisleys' Southern upbringing also shaped much of their off-camera life, which the show only hinted at. Todd and Julie maintained close ties with their hometown roots, often visiting extended family members and participating in community events long before cameras followed them. Their success didn't erase their sense of Southern hospitality and humility. Even though viewers saw more of the opulence and luxury associated with their brand, the truth is that much of their real life was spent giving back to others, helping friends in need, and maintaining a sense of normalcy despite fame. The Chrisleys' humor, which became their signature on screen, was also their greatest coping mechanism in real life. When tensions rose within the household, Todd would often diffuse it with a perfectly timed joke. Julie would respond with her signature calm smile, and before long the family would be laughing again. That laughter was their therapy, their way of staying grounded amid the chaos of fame and controversy. One of the most touching aspects of their off-camera life was their relationship with Nanny Faye, Todd's mother, who quickly became a fan favorite. Known for her unfiltered honesty and light-hearted spirit, Nanny Faye represented the heart of the family. What the audience didn't see was how instrumental she was in keeping everyone emotionally connected. She often served as the peacekeeper during family disagreements, offering words of wisdom and reminding them all that no matter what happened, they had each other. Her influence went beyond humor and into the very foundation of the family's faith and love. As the years passed, the Chrisleys' private lives became increasingly intertwined with their public image, making it difficult to separate reality from performance. But those who know them best insist that the heart of the family never changed. Todd's love for his children, Julie's quiet strength, Savannah's ambition, Chase's loyalty, and Nanny Faye's resilience all remained constants, even when the cameras stopped rolling. Now, with the family preparing for a new era following Todd and Julie's release from prison, fans are once again curious about what lies beyond the spotlight. What will the cameras show this time, and more importantly, what will they leave out? The Chrisleys' upcoming projects promise a deeper look into their lives, but if their past experience with reality TV has taught them anything, it's that authenticity matters more than image. They are entering this next chapter determined to share not just the laughter, but also the lessons, the faith, and the humility that kept them standing through it all. Chrisley Knows Best may have given audiences a glimpse into one of television's most fascinating families, but the true story of the Chrisleys extends far beyond what viewers ever saw. It's a story of perseverance, forgiveness, and the enduring power of family. Behind the witty dialogue and staged chaos was a real family navigating life, love, and redemption with grace and humor. Their legacy goes beyond television cameras. It lives in the quiet moments, the unseen prayers, and the unbreakable bonds that no amount of editing could ever capture.